Hey there, everyone. Ready to dive deep into the world of personal finance?
Always ready for a deep dive.
You guys sent in some amazing stuff on investing and reaching financial freedom, including, well, would you believe it, excerpts from Tony Robbins' book, Money, Master the Game.
A classic.
So get ready, because we're going to uncover some pretty surprising stuff. Like, did you know those mutual funds you might think are super safe could be eating up a huge chunk of your potential returns and fees?
Oh, yeah. Fees can be a silent killer.
For real.
Oh.
And we're also going to explore a strategy that's helped over 10 million Americans boost their savings. It's called the Save More Tomorrow plan.
That was a game changer.
I'm so excited to have our financial expert, well, our expert, with us to break down all this complex stuff.
Happy to be here. You know, I think a lot of people feel like personal finance is this big, confusing maze.
Oh, tell me about it.
But that's what we're here for, right?
Right.
To help you become an insider, someone who knows the rules of the game and can make smart choices with their money.
I love that. Becoming an insider.
Yeah.
Like getting a backstage pass to the world of finance. You know, one of the first things that really struck me from Tony Robbins' book was how the whole concept of retirement is, well, kind of a new thing.
It is.
And how those old school ways of getting financial security, you know, like pensions, are kind of fading away.
Yeah, you're right on the money there. Pensions are definitely becoming less common. And that means more and more people are, on their own when it comes to managing their retirement savings.
Which can be pretty scary.
It can. And without some proactive planning, a lot of people could end up in trouble.
How much trouble are we talking?
Well, Tony Robbins points out that without really planning ahead, something like 75% of Americans could see their assets disappear before they die.
Whoa, 75%. That's like a huge wake-up call to get our financial act together.
It is. It's a reminder that we can't just sit back and expect things to work out. We've got to be proactive.
Okay, so where do we even begin? I mean, there's just so much information out there about money and investing. It can be overwhelming.
It can. But Tony Robbins does a great job of breaking it down. He talks about the psychology behind our money choices.
The psychology of money. Tell me more about that.
Well, he talks about these 6 human needs, things like certainty, significance, connection, and how they can, sometimes in ways we don't even realize, they can influence our financial decisions.
Okay, so how do these needs actually play out in our money habits? Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's take the need for significance, for example.
Okay.
Think about someone who's always bragging about the amazing deals they find.
Oh, yeah, we all know that person.
Or, on the flip side, someone who's really downplays their wealth because they're uncomfortable with it.
Interesting.
Both of those behaviors could be driven by a need for significance that's tied to money.
Wow, that's so true. We've all seen those people who define themselves by how much they spend or save.
Exactly.
So recognizing these patterns can help us make, well, more conscious choices with our money. Right.
Absolutely. And that's where Tony Robbins gets into, debunking some common beliefs about money financial myths that can actually hold us back.
Oh, tell me about it. He busts a bunch of myths in the book.
He does.
But one that really stood out to me was this idea that mutual funds are the best long-term investment. I mean, I always thought they were the safe option.
Yeah, that's a common misconception. And while mutual funds can be, part of a balanced portfolio, Tony Robbins kind of exposes a harsh reality. Those hidden fees can eat into your returns big time.
Wait, really? How bad can the fees be? I mean, we're not talking about huge amounts of money here, are we?
Well, the average mutual fund charges around 3.17% in fees.
Okay, 3%. Doesn't sound too terrible.
Right. But over time, that can cost you literally millions in potential earnings.
Wait, millions? Get out of here.
Seriously, imagine a mutual fund earning 7% annually with a 3.17% fee. You're only actually getting 3.83%. So almost half of your potential gains are just gone.
Wow, I never realized those seemingly small percentages could have such a huge impact over time.
They do, and it makes you think, who's really benefiting from those fees?
Right. It's not me, that's for sure. So we need to be smart about those fees. But how do we even know where to start?
Well, that brings us to another really important point that Tony Robbins stresses, finding a financial advisor who's, truly looking out for you.
Okay. I've heard that before, but what exactly does that mean? What should we be looking for?
He really emphasizes working with a fiduciary.
A fiduciary. Okay, I've heard that term before, but I'm not exactly sure what it means.
Basically, a fiduciary is legally obligated to put your financial interests above their own. They have a duty to act in your best interest, unlike a broker who might be more incentivized to sell you products that earn them higher commissions.
So it's like having a financial advisor who's actually on your team, not just looking out for their own bottom line. That's a huge difference. So we've talked about how the whole, landscape of financial security is changing and the psychology behind our money decisions and now finding the right advisor. But what I'm really excited to dig into is Tony Robbins' concept of the Freedom Fund.
Yes.
And building that money machine he keeps talking about. How do we actually do that?
Let's get into it. Those are really powerful concepts that can help you, take control of your financial future.
So tell me more about this Freedom Fund. Is it I don't know, some secret stash of gold coins?
Not quite gold coins, but the idea is to create a financial cushion that gives you options, gives you freedom.
Freedom. I like the sound of that.
It's about dedicating a portion of your income, whatever you can manage, to savings and investments.
Got it.
The goal is to shift your mindset from being just a consumer, always spending, to becoming an owner, an investor who's building wealth over time.
I love that shift from consumer to owner. It's like taking control, right? And Tony Robbins shares some really inspiring stories about people who achieve financial freedom.
He does.
And they weren't millionaires or anything.
No, not at all.
Just regular people with average incomes.
One of my favorite stories is about Theodore Johnson.
Theodore Johnson?
Yeah, he was a UPS worker back in the 1920s.
Wow, way back.
Right. And he never made more than $14,000 a year.
$14,000? You could barely buy a car with that these days.
I know, but he consistently invested 20% of his paycheck.
20%? That's a big chunk.
It is. But by the time he retired, he had accumulated millions.
Millions?
Yeah.
From a UPS salary? No way.
No way. It's the power of compounding, that snowball effect of earning interest on your interest.
So, even if you're not making a ton of money, if you just start investing early and consistently, you can still build wealth over time.
Absolutely. It's all about time and consistency. And, that kind of leads us to the concept of the money machine.
Okay, tell me everything about this money machine.
It's about having investments that generate passive income.
Passive income, that's the dream.
Imagine a system where your money is working harder than you are.
I like where this is going.
Right. It's about creating a portfolio of investments that generate income.
So I'm making money.
Without requiring, constant effort on your part.
Like making money while I sleep. Sign me up.
Exactly. Tony Robbins calls it making money while you sleep.
I love it.
Yeah.
But how do we actually build this money machine? I mean, it sounds kind of intimidating.
It doesn't have to be. Tony Robbins breaks it down into these 3 buckets.
3 buckets. Okay, what are they?
The security bucket, the risk growth bucket, and wait for it, the dream bucket.
Oh, I like that one already.
It's a framework for, allocating your assets based on your goals and your risk tolerance.
So it's like diversifying my investments, but with a little more strategy.
Exactly. So the security bucket is for the portion of your investments that you absolutely can't afford to lose.
Okay, that makes sense, like my emergency fund.
Yeah, kind of. You're prioritizing safety and stability there.
Okay, safety first.
So things like short-term government bonds or FDIC-insured savings accounts.
So it's like my financial safety net.
Exactly. It's your foundation. Then you have the risk growth bucket.
Okay, that sounds, a bit more risky.
It does. But it's also where you have the potential for, higher returns.
High risk, high reward.
Exactly. This bucket might include things like stocks, real estate, investments that have the potential to grow significantly over time.
Got it. Now, what about that dream bucket? Is that where I stash my lottery winnings?
I wish. The dream bucket is all about funding those big, audacious goals.
Oh, I like that.
The things that bring you joy and fulfillment.
Good.
Could be traveling the world, starting your own business, buying a vacation home, whatever you're dreaming of.
So it's not just about numbers and spreadsheets. It's about connecting my investments with, my values, my vision for my life.
Exactly. So you have your security bucket, your foundation, the risk growth bucket, and then the dream bucket for the fun stuff.
I love it. So are there specific strategies for each bucket?
Absolutely. For your security bucket, the focus is on preserving capital. So you'd choose investments that are considered low risk and offer stable returns.
Got it. And the risk growth bucket. That's where I can be a little more adventurous.
You can, but it's important to do your research.
Of course.
And, really understand the risks involved. Stocks, for example.
Yeah.
They can offer higher potential returns than, say, bonds.
Okay.
But they also come with more volatility.
So it's a balance between risk and reward.
Exactly. What about real estate?
Oh, real estate. I've always thought of that as like pretty safe investment. Everyone needs a place to live, right?
Right. Real estate can be a great investment.
Yeah.
But it's not without its risks either. Property values can fluctuate.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And there are costs associated with, owning and managing property.
Okay, so real estate is not as simple as it seems.
Right. It's essential to, carefully consider your financial situation and your investment goals before you, dive into real estate.
So we've got our 3 buckets and a better understanding of asset allocation. But, how do we know what to actually invest in?
That's the million-dollar question. And that's why Tony Robbins spends a whole section of his book interviewing some of the most successful investors in the world.
Wait, he interviews billionaires.
He does. People like Carl Icahn, Ray Dalio, Warren Buffett. He calls it the billionaire's playbook.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like getting a master class in investing from the people who have, actually achieved extraordinary success.
It is. And you know what's even more amazing? Even these super wealthy investors, they emphasize the same principles we've been talking about.
Which are?
Diversification, minimizing fees, and taking a long-term approach.
So those strategies apply whether you're managing millions or just starting to build your nest egg.
Exactly. It's proof that the fundamentals of investing are universal.
That's really reassuring. Can we, dive into some of the specific things these billionaires said?
Of course. One interview that really stands out is with Ray Dalio.
Ray Dalio, the hedge fund guy.
He manages the world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater Associates.
Wow, that's huge.
Right. And he's a big advocate for what he calls the all-weather portfolio approach.
All-weather portfolio. Sounds intense.
It's designed to perform well in any economic climate.
So it's like a portfolio that can weather any storm.
Exactly. It includes a mix of stocks, bonds, commodities, and gold.
Okay.
And it's designed to protect your investments against inflation, deflation, recession, basically any economic scenario you can think of.
Wow, that sounds pretty impressive. But isn't it complicated to manage a portfolio like that?
It can be, but the idea is to create a balance that minimizes your risk while still allowing for growth.
Got it.
It's a long-term strategy, and it's been proven to work over time.
So we've built our freedom fund. We're investing like billionaires, and we're riding out economic storms like pros. But what about actually turning those investments into income?
Yes.
Like when I'm retired and no longer working.
Right. That's where a lot of people get stuck. They focus so much on, accumulating assets, but don't really have a plan for turning those assets into income they can live on.
So it's not just about saving money. It's about creating a system that generates income.
Exactly. And that's where Tony Robbins introduces the concept of annuities.
Annuities. I've heard that term before, but I'm not really sure what they are.
Think of an annuity like a contract with an insurance company.
Okay.
You give them a lump sum of money, and they guarantee you a stream of income payments.
So it's like creating my own personal pension.
You could think of it that way. Annuities can be a really valuable tool for generating that predictable income during retirement.
Okay, but aren't annuities risky? I feel like I've heard stories about people losing money on annuities.
You're right. Any investment has risks. And annuities are no different.
Yeah.
Some annuities come with high fees.
Oh, there they are again.
Right. And there can be penalties for withdrawing your money early.
So how do I navigate the world of annuities and find ones that are, actually good?
That's where, doing your research comes in. And Tony Robbins really stresses the importance of working with a financial advisor.
Right. Makes sense. Someone who knows this stuff.
Exactly. Someone who can help you understand, the different types of annuities and choose ones that are right for you.
Okay. I'm getting the sense that finding the right financial advisor is the most important step here.
It's definitely up there. And Tony Robbins, he really hammers home this point about avoiding annuities with high fees.
Right.
Those fees, just like with mutual funds, can really eat into your returns.
Got it.
He shares a story about this guy, Dr. David Babel.
Dr. Babel.
Yeah. He's secured his retirement using low-cost, guaranteed annuities.
So it's all about finding that sweet spot, right?
Right.
Annuities that offer guaranteed income, but without all those crazy fees.
Exactly. And there are resources out there that can help you compare different annuities and find ones that, meet your specific needs.
That's great to know. So we've covered building wealth, diversifying our investments, creating a lifetime income plan. Is there anything else we should be aware of on this journey to financial freedom? I mean, are there any like traps we need to avoid?
Ooh, yes. There are tons of financial myths out there. Those commonly held beliefs that can lead to costly mistakes.
Oh, the myths. Tell me about it. They're everywhere.
And they can be so convincing. Tony Robbins has a whole section in his book about debunking these myths.
Ooh, myth-busting time.
Exactly. And one myth that he tackles is this idea that, your 401k is all you need for retirement.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that one. But, why is that a myth? Aren't 401ks designed for retirement saving?
They are, but there are some potential downsides to, relying solely on your 401k.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, they often come with limited investment options.
Yeah.
You might only have, a handful of mutual funds to choose from.
Okay.
And those funds might have higher fees than what you'd find elsewhere.
Ugh, those fees again.
Right. So it's important to, look beyond your 401k and consider other investment options.
Got it. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. What else?
Another thing to be aware of is the fees associated with 401ks themselves.
Wait, fees on top of fees.
Yeah. And sometimes those fees are hidden, so you might not even realize how much they're, chipping away at your returns.
So sneaky. Like little financial termites.
I know, right? So Tony Robbins really encourages readers to, analyze their 401k plans.
Okay.
To make sure there aren't any hidden fees.
So it's about being proactive, not just assuming that my 401k will magically take care of everything.
Right. And speaking of being proactive, he talks about the importance of understanding target date funds.
Target date funds. What are those?
They're often the default investment option in 401ks.
Okay, I think I've seen those listed in my 401k plan.
Yeah, they're designed to simplify investing.
In what way?
By, automatically adjusting your asset allocation as you get closer to retirement.
So they, shift my investments for me.
Yeah. They typically start with a higher percentage of stocks.
Which are riskier.
Right. And then gradually shift to a more conservative mix of bonds as you approach your, target retirement date.
Huh. That actually sounds pretty convenient.
It can be, but there are some downsides to target date funds.
There always are, aren't there?
Right. They often have higher fees than, say, index funds.
There are those fees again. Ugh.
I know. And their performance can also vary depending on the fund manager's strategy and, what's happening in the market.
Okay, so it's not like a foolproof set it and forget it solution.
Right. You still need to do your research.
And be aware of those fees. So we've got to be smart about 401ks.
Definitely. And that brings us back to this idea of fees, how they can really impact your investment returns.
Yeah, you've mentioned that a few times. It seems like fees are everywhere. How do we avoid getting eaten alive by fees?
I know. But Tony Robbins has some great tips for minimizing those pesky fees.
Lay it on me.
One of the simplest and most effective strategies is to choose low-cost index funds.
Okay, index funds. Remind me what those are.
An index fund is a type of mutual fund.
Oh.
That basically tracks a specific market index.
Right.
Like the S&P 500, for example.
Okay, so it's like a basket of stocks that reflects the performance of the overall market.
Exactly. They're designed to passively mirror the performance of that index.
So they're not trying to, beat the market.
Right. They're just trying to match it.
Makes sense.
And because they're, passively managed, they usually have lower expense ratios.
Which means
more of your money stays in your pocket.
Oh, okay, I like the sound of that. So index funds are a good option for minimizing fees.
They are. And other strategies, too, working with a fiduciary advisor who charges, a transparent fee based on assets under management.
Okay.
That way, their incentives are aligned with yours.
Makes sense. What else?
And don't underestimate the power of negotiating fees.
Negotiating?
Yeah. A lot of financial institutions are willing to, lower their fees if you just ask.
So it's like haggling for a better deal.
Exactly. It never hurts to ask.
I love it. Okay, we've covered so much ground here. It's amazing.
We have.
We've talked about, building wealth, different investing strategies, even debunking those sneaky financial myths. But what about the mental and emotional side of all this?
Yes.
I mean, managing money can be a roller coaster of emotions.
It can. It's not just about the numbers, right?
Right. There's the fear of losing money, the excitement of making money, the pressure to keep up with everyone else. It can be a lot to handle. And Tony Robbins does talk about all of that in his book, right?
He does. He acknowledges that, achieving financial freedom isn't just about knowing the right investments. It's also about having the right mindset.
So our mindset plays a big role in all this. How so?
Well, he shares some really powerful insights about overcoming limiting beliefs and, cultivating a mindset for success.
Yeah, I know from personal experience that our beliefs can really shape our reality.
They can.
If you believe you're not good with money
Right.
or that you'll never be wealthy, well, those beliefs can really hold you back.
Absolutely. And that's why Tony Robbins emphasizes the importance of, identifying those limiting beliefs
Okay.
and challenging them.
So, like, how do we do that? How do we shift from, that scarcity mindset to, like, an abundance mindset?
He gives some really good exercises in the book.
Oh, cool.
One of the simplest but most powerful is like just becoming aware of the negative self-talk.
The negative self-talk.
Those thoughts in your head that say, I'm not good enough or I'll never be rich.
Oh, those thoughts. Yeah,
Yeah.
we all have those.
Right. But once we're like aware of them, we can start to, challenge them
Okay.
and replace them with more positive beliefs.
So it's about catching myself when I'm, like, spiraling into negativity and consciously choosing to focus on, more positive thoughts.
Exactly. And another important aspect of mindset is focusing on what you can control.
That makes sense. So instead of worrying about things I can't change,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, the stock market or the economy, I should focus on things I can actually influence, right?
Right. Like your spending habits, how much you save, your investment choices, all that good stuff.
So it's a combo, right? Like
Yeah.
doing the inner work, shifting my mindset, and then also taking the practical steps, putting the right strategies in place.
Exactly. Inner game and outer game.
Love it.
Yeah.
So what are some of those practical steps?
Well, one of the most powerful strategies that Tony Robbins recommends is automating your savings.
Automating my savings. What does that even mean?
It basically means setting up a system where a portion of your income is, automatically transferred into your savings or investment accounts each month.
So it's like paying myself first.
Exactly. You're making it like a non-negotiable part of your budget.
I love that. Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Exactly. It takes the, decision-making out of the equation. You don't have to think about it.
It just happens.
Yep. It just happens. And it really helps you, build wealth consistently.
So I'm, like, less tempted to spend that money.
Exactly, because you never even see it.
I love that. It's like having a financial autopilot, keeping me on track.
It is. And Tony Robbins even suggests implementing something called the Save More Tomorrow plan. Have you heard of that?
Save more tomorrow. I don't think so.
It's a simple strategy where you commit to automatically increasing your savings rate.
Increasing it.
Yeah, every time you get a raise or a bonus.
Oh, that's smart. I like that.
It's a really easy way to, like, painlessly boost your savings over time.
Yeah. So you're not even really feeling it. I bet you could automate that pretty easily with, like, my online banking, right?
Oh, absolutely. Most banks and credit unions offer, automatic transfer options.
Too. Okay, so automating my savings, that's definitely going on my to-do list. What other practical tips does Tony Robbins offer?
Well, he's a big believer in developing a spending plan.
A spending plan. You mean like a budget?
Exactly.
Ugh, budgets. They just sound so restrictive.
I know a lot of people feel that way about budgets.
Yeah.
But it's not about, depriving yourself. It's about gaining clarity on where your money is actually going.
Okay.
And then making conscious choices about how you want to spend it.
So it's like aligning my spending with my goals.
Exactly. It's about making sure your money is working for you, not against you. And there are so many great budgeting apps and tools out there that can, help you track your spending and make it, like, super easy.
Good to know, because I definitely need all the help I can get. Okay, so we've got automating our savings, creating a budget. What else?
Well, Tony Robbins also encourages readers to, take advantage of technology.
Okay, tech. I like tech.
Right. There are so many great resources out there.
Like,
He recommends websites like personalfund.com and America's Best 401k.
I'll have to check those out.
They can help you, like, analyze fees and find the best investments. And he also has a free smartphone app.
An app. Cool.
It walks you through those 7 steps to financial freedom that he lays out in the book.
So it's like having a personal financial coach right in my pocket.
Exactly.
I love that.
Okay.
So much great info. But, sometimes even when you have all the right tools and strategies, managing money can still feel really, emotional.
Oh, absolutely.
There's fear, there's greed, there's
Yeah,
self-doubt. It can be tough.
totally. And Tony Robbins, he's not afraid to talk about those emotional challenges. He even shares some of his own personal stories.
Really? Like, even Tony Robbins has struggled with money.
He has. He talks about struggling with self-doubt.
Well,
Yeah, and even the fear of failure.
it's kind of reassuring to know that even someone as successful as Tony Robbins has faced those challenges.
It is. It makes it feel a lot more relatable.
Right. So if he can overcome those challenges, maybe we can too.
Exactly. He really emphasizes that success isn't just about, the strategies you use. It's also about overcoming those internal obstacles.
Okay, so it's like an inside job.
It is. He encourages readers to, challenge those limiting beliefs, cultivate a mindset of abundance, and surround themselves with supportive people.
Your tribe.
Exactly.
So it's like building a support system of people who, believe in you.
Yes. And he also emphasizes the importance of taking action.
Action. I like action.
Great. Even if it's just like one small step at a time.
Okay, small steps, but consistent action.
Exactly. And celebrate your successes along the way.
Yes.
Celebrate.
Don't forget to acknowledge how far you've come. And he also talks about the importance of finding mentors.
And yeah, people who can, guide you, share their wisdom and experience. People who have already achieved the level of success that you're aiming for.
Okay, so like find someone who's already where I want to be and learn from them.
Exactly. Mentors can be so valuable. And Tony Robbins, he even encourages readers to become mentors themselves.
Well, that's a good idea. Pay it forward.
Exactly. He believes that, true wealth comes not just from accumulating money, but from living a fulfilling life.
So it's about aligning your financial goals with your values.
Right. And using your resources to, make a positive impact on the world.
I love that. He shared some incredible stories about philanthropists like Chuck Feeney.
Amazing, right?
The guy who gave away his entire fortune. It's a powerful reminder that money is a tool.
It is.
And it can be used for good.
And that achieving financial freedom isn't just about, the money itself. It's about living a fulfilling life, a life of purpose.
So it's about designing a life that you love, right? Not just working towards someone else's definition of success.
Exactly. He challenges us to, think outside the box.
Outside the box?
Yeah. To, consider alternative paths to creating income. Maybe ditch that traditional 9-to-5 grind if that's not your thing.
Love that. So it's not just about financial freedom. It's about freedom in all areas of your life.
Yes, freedom to design a life that you truly love. And speaking of freedom, he has a whole chapter about the impact of technology.
Tech and finance. It's a hot topic these days.
It is. He sees technology as this, powerful force that's disrupting those traditional financial models.
Okay, disrupting in a good way, I hope.
In a good way. He thinks it's creating, new opportunities for wealth creation.
I can see that, with all these new apps and online platforms.
Exactly. And he especially highlights the declining cost of technology.
Which means?
It's becoming easier and more affordable for people to, access information.
Okay.
Start businesses.
Yep.
Invest in cool new ideas.
So technology is this great equalizer.
It is. He believes that technology is giving more people the power to take control of their finances and achieve financial freedom.
I love that. But what about the potential risks of technology?
Of course, there are always risks. Scams, cybercrime, all that stuff.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
But Tony Robbins is really optimistic about the potential benefits outweighing the risks.
So it's about being smart and cautious, but not letting fear hold us back from the opportunities that technology offers.
Exactly. And he even suggests that technology could help solve some of the world's biggest problems,
Really?
like poverty and inequality. He thinks technology can give people, who have traditionally been excluded from the financial system, access to the tools and resources they need.
I love that vision. It's using technology to make the world a better place.
Exactly. It's a call to action to, embrace innovation, challenge the status quo, and use technology for good.
That's inspiring. Okay, we've covered so much, my brain is about to explode. But before we wrap up, let's bring it back to our listeners for a moment.
Yes.
What does all this mean for them? How can they actually apply all these amazing insights to their own lives?
That's the big question, right? And Tony Robbins, he challenges readers to, take those first steps.
First steps to financial freedom.
Exactly. And it all starts with setting clear goals.
Goals, okay.
What do you want to achieve?
What do I want my financial life to look like?
Exactly. Do you want to pay off debt, save for a down payment on a house, retire early, travel the world, get specific?
Love it. Once you have a vision, you can start, making a plan.
Exactly. And that plan should include a budget. It's like your financial roadmap.
Ooh, roadmap.
It doesn't have to be super complicated. Just start by, tracking your income and expenses for a month or two.
Okay, track my spending. Got it.
just to see where your money is actually going.
And once you have a good understanding of your spending habits,
You can start, making adjustments
adjustments to my spending.
to make sure your spending is aligned with, your goals.
Got it. And remember, automate those savings.
Yes. Set up that system where a chunk of your income is like automatically going into your savings or investment accounts every month.
Okay, automate, automate, automate. Got it. And watch out for those sneaky fees.
Always. Choose low-cost investment options like index funds.
Index funds. Got it. It's a lot to remember.
I know, but don't be afraid to, ask for help.
Help, yes.
There are so many resources available. Talk to a financial advisor, find some mentors, join some online communities. There's a ton of support out there.
So I don't have to do this alone.
No, not at all. And Tony Robbins, he really emphasizes the power of, taking action, even if it's just one small step.
One small step.
Every single day.
Okay, one small step.
Those small steps over time lead to big results.
That's like that saying, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right.
Exactly.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Okay, marathon. I can do that. So what's one small change that our listeners can make?
Right now.
Yeah, like this week, to free up some extra cash for their Freedom Fund.
Ooh, I love that challenge.
What can they do?
Well, maybe it's like bringing your lunch to work a couple of times a week.
Instead of eating out?
Yeah. Or cutting back on those daily lattes.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I know, those lattes are delicious. But think of it as an investment in your future freedom.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, so small changes, big results. What else? What other advice would you give to our listeners?
Well, I'd say think about your top financial priorities right now.
Right.
Paying off debt.
Yeah.
Saving for a down payment.
Yeah.
Investing for retirement.
Got it.
Pick one and really focus on it.
Okay. Focus. And what about all the investing stuff we talked about?
Right. Do you want to learn more about asset allocation, index funds, the power of compounding? There are tons of resources available to help you, dive deeper.
Okay, so keep learning.
Yes. And most importantly,
Yeah.
imagine achieving your financial goals.
Imagine.
What would that freedom allow you to do?
That's a great question.
Would you travel the world? Start that business you've been dreaming of?
Spend more time with loved ones.
Maybe just have the peace of mind of knowing that, you're financially secure.
I like that. Peace of mind.
Imagine that feeling of freedom and abundance.
Okay, I'm imagining it. Feels good.
Right. Let that vision motivate you
Motivate me to do what?
to take action, to make those dreams a reality.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. This has been an amazing conversation.
It really has.
Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom with us.
My pleasure. It's been so inspiring, talking about all this stuff.
Me too. I'm feeling super motivated.
Good.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into financial freedom. Remember, you have the power to create the financial future you desire. Keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep taking action. We'll see you on our next deep dive.